Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Looks Rare Podcast. We are live from our mom's basement. And I got some intros again. I'm back on it here. We have we have a smaller crew than normal for a few reasons. But let's get at it. First of all, we have... Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Looks Rare Podcast. We are live. I can't tell if Justin Aversano is super short or he's super tall. Market's down. He doesn't care. He's in LA having a ball. He's having FOMO after missing out on Goblin Town. What the fuck? Because it's usually the dumbest ones where you can make a quick buck. Mr. Due Diligence, Punk Vandalay.
Nice. I love it.
Glad to have you here. He gets no love on Twitter, despite his recent tweets being on point. Oh, well, it's 6 a.m. now. Time to smoke a fat joint. He has wet dreams. He has wet dreams. He's being interviewed by Kobe. But in reality, he's just shirtless on his couch watching Obi-Wan. The English engineer, Pep.
Nice. So how
Welcome,
tall
fellas.
are you? Really that tall, fan? Are you really super tall?
I'm about 6 feet, so I'm not. I'm not super tall, but I'm just. I'm not short.
You look at the tweet that Van tweeted, I think yesterday, with him with his. He didn't dox. He had his, punk face over his body, but he's standing next to Justin Aversano, and I've never met Justin, so I guess he's kind of shorter. Maybe just the angle of the picture, but you look like you're like a foot taller than him. It's hilarious.
While I was there, I was continuously telling people not to dox me. It's like, please don't dox me.
Yeah, I was. I went to the Crypto New Yorker thing where you could mint in person. It was the same time as in NYC NFT. So there are tons of NFT people around, and I had the same. I actually met G Money there briefly in person, which was cool. But other than that, I was like super nervous about being doxxed, but then at the same time, like wanted to be able to talk to people. It's kind of weird, right? Like I didn't really know how to feel about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm, exactly. I was introducing people, not as Punk Vandalay, but as my real name. But, like when you're pulling out your wallet and people kind of can see who you are, I guess, at a certain point, or people want to share Twitters or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. That's what I did when I went to Barcelona and Amsterdam this year. I did the same thing. I just introduced them myself as my real name. And then once I'd kind of got a feel for people and whether I wanted to let them know who I was on Twitter or whatever, then I would let them know. It is hard.
It was funny. I did have a few moments where I had a T-shirt. I have a T-shirt of my punk, just my punk face on it. And I got it for NYC. I actually love the T-shirt. It's a nice T-shirt. But, I got it for NYC. And then I kind of realized I didn't really want to wear it because I just thought that would be kind of weird. So I wore it underneath like a sweatshirt. And then when I got a little drunk at one of the parties, people would be talking to me and they're like, well, who are you? Like, what's your deal? What are you doing here? And I would like show them my shirt. And it was kind of funny, like every, I don't know, second almost everyone recognized it was a punk, right? I don't know that meant they knew who I was, but it was just kind of a funny reaction that you get. But I didn't want to just like wear it around all the time because then people will probably like haggle you and stuff.
You need one of those necklace, like chain things. Like, is it the Louis Vuitton guy who's got one from Tiffany's?
Yeah, those are pretty dope. They weren't cheap though. Weren't like 20 ETH or something?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. And yeah, I don't know what happened with those. Are they still, is he still making those?
I wasn't sure if they were custom, like you had to specifically ask for one, or if it was like the first 100 were made. I don't know. I only remember seeing a couple. And I don't know. And that was back when ETH was actually worth a lot. Painful. So yeah, I think we've been off for what, like almost 2 weeks, I think, because we did an interview episode. But as far as like current events and stuff, it's been a while. And shout out to Deb. He just got back from France and he's jet lagged. Shout out to Zinc. It's super late for him. And he may have been drinking a little bit, so he's down for the count. And then our international crew is also, they're all over the place. So it's hard to find a good time for everybody, but we're going to really try to stick to the once a week cadence to try to put out some content. And I do want to talk about Goblin Town because we haven't, even though that's kind of old news now, we haven't had a chance to talk about that. And I'd be curious to get your thoughts on it, Van, because I know we've gone back and forth about it a little bit in the chat. And maybe tell me when did you first learn about it? And then when did you, like, what was your initial reaction? And then how are you feeling about it now?
Sure. Yeah, I learned about it kind of earlier on when it was around, I think it was like 0.2 or 0.3. I just saw a little bit of chatter on Twitter. So I, like you do, you immediately jump into it and see what it is. And just looking at it briefly, they look hideous. so they're, at first you're just like, what is this nonsense? And there's a million of these projects where they look bad and you just kind of glance over it and move on with your life. But whatever reason, you just continue to see, Goblin Town everywhere on your Twitter feed. And so I kept my eye on it, but just didn't really explore it that much. Just seeing the price go up, like, hey, that's kind of interesting. But like once the price really got, I think there's a lot of these rumors going around that it may be Yuga involved or Beeple. So it started just going crazy. I think it hit, what is it, like 6 ETH at a certain point? And
yeah, it did.
Yeah. And then we started talking about it within our group too. And someone shared the website, and just checking out the website. I think if I would have seen the website, earlier on, I would have vaped for sure. The website is one of the most well done sites I've ever seen.
It's great.
So it's amazing. And you can see that there's a team that just has executed really well. And I don't know who's behind it. Everyone's kind of dying to find out. I wouldn't be surprised if it is Yuga because it's so well made.
Yeah, I don't think it's Yuga. I mean, I know that's a rumor, but they, I don't know. I feel like there's lots of other people that could have done it too. But I do think, I think I was the one who shared the website because it was kind of, that brought up another point, which is, it's funny how I bet you a lot of people are willing to pay 4 or 5 ETH for something like this, and they maybe don't even look at the website, right? I mean, I think we're all guilty of that. Because I mean, all you have to do is go to the collection site on OpenSea and click a little web button, but sometimes that's like too much. But it's just kind of, I was laughing at how, we'll spend almost $10,000 on some random JPEG just on a vibe, and that's not necessarily always terrible, right? Like if you're on Twitter, you kind of get a sense of what people are thinking about it. You can judge a project fairly well on that, but it's just funny that like all you have to do is maybe spend 10 more minutes researching it before you buy. And a lot of people don't even do that. And so after like 9 different times of looking at the collection, I finally looked at the website and I was like, oh, this is cool. And for sure. I mean, if it was way cheaper, or if it was somehow I could mint, I don't know if it was a allow list, or I assume it was, but I didn't hear about it until after it had already launched. But yeah, I definitely would have gotten one if it was cheap. At this point, I just feel like it's too risky to pay 5 ETH for one.
Yeah, I think what's pretty interesting about this is the current trend where they're going with the free mint and also no Discord. I think they've kind of set it off with the no Discord part, but we've seen quite a few of these types of projects release since goblins have hit, and some of them have actually done pretty well.
So it's interesting. They did a couple of things. They did the no Discord, which I actually like. I can definitely see the appeal of that, because Discord is so fucked right now. It's like the whole purpose of it is to be able to message people, but you can't message people because it's always a scam. So it's like the whole product is just fucked. Like, I don't know what they're going to do. They need to fix it, or something needs to replace it. So I kind of get that part of it, but the whole free mint CCO part is fine, but free mint is a bit deceptive because of the royalties, and they charge 7.5%, which is, high. Now you could argue. So I did some quick math this afternoon. They had, at the time I looked, they had 31.7K ETH in volume, which means they made 2377 ETH, which is about $4.5 to $5 million off. They've made that already off of their 7.5% royalty. So to say it's free mint is fine. It is, but they've already made $5 million. It's been phenomenally successful. I would imagine more so than they had guessed, right? Like, how could they know that it was going to do this well? Maybe they had, I'm not saying they didn't think it would do okay, but I kind of doubt they thought it would be this high in volume with these high prices. But, they made $5 million. So then to say there's no roadmap, that's fine when you make, I don't know, a couple $100,000, and it's like, okay, well, you probably put some money into it and you got to get that money back. But I mean, they have $5 million now. So I don't know, like, how long that will last, right? Like, to just say there's no roadmap, like, we're cool, we don't have a roadmap. It's like, yeah, but you have $5 million, and in a month you might have $10 million. So what are you doing with all that money,
Yeah. the other aspect is you don't know it till you see it on the site, but they also held 1,000 mints.
Right. That's good point. Good point. Yeah.
I guess they had to do that as insurance. Like you say, they didn't expect necessarily multi-million-dollar royalties in the first few weeks or whatever. So that was kind of their insurance policy to have funds to do anything they need to later on, maybe. But
yeah, I'm looking in the chat. It said it's pretty much confirmed that Yuga's not involved. And then Doquan Zero saying Mike Dudas is involved somehow. And remind me who he is again. Is he the guy from the block or? I know him. I just can't. I'm blanking. I think is he in the block guy? Yeah, the block. Yeah. So that's interesting if that's true. I'm curious if Doquan could tell us what his source is for that. If that's like true or just a rumor.
I've seen so many different rumors. Like people, I think some of the reason that people thought it was Yuga to begin with, partly not just because it was well executed, but I think some of the early accounts that were really pushing it were kind of somewhat Basey related, or at least prominent people that were early and active in Basey. Seeing people trying to link it to is it Guy Asiri? Is that his name? The
agent.
Yeah. And is he always People's agent as well, or did I make that up?
He might. I
don't know.
I think with Beeple, he retweeted something, and that's where people started wondering because of that.
Well, I saw a couple things with Beeple. There was a tweet with a picture of him and something, and then he did a piece of a daily, I think, of a goblin, and so he's referenced it a couple times. But what was the one with the picture? There's a picture of Beeple with somebody, and it kind of implied that he had something to do with Goblin Town, but he hasn't, right? I mean, that's just a rumor. Like he hasn't come out and endorsed it fully, has he? I haven't really look at his.
He's dropped a couple of hints, basically.
He made a little cheeky post about it. I don't know if you can find it.
Oh yeah, there it is. But that's the guy from Bored Apes.
Yeah. And then he'd also.
So I mean, they're just playing around. Yeah, and then that was the Rise and Fall of Goblin Town.
Mm-hmm.
But Goblin Town isn't necessarily the project, right? So,
well, hashtag I am the founder.
Oh, yeah.
That was.
So I mean, he's fucking with us, I guess.
He's totally fucking with everyone.
So I don't know. It's just funny because I still can't believe Azuki's is still doing okay. Like, what is their floor price and volume? Like, they're holding around 10 usually. It seems like, which after what happened with them. Mm-hmm. It's 11.5 floor. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy that they're almost the same as Doodles. Like how are they the same as Doodles when I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. And so, it's like the whole point of, anonymous founders and all that. It's like, well, they're over. Like you can't have any more anonymous founders, but here we are again with another project with anonymous founders and everyone's aping it and loving it. There's no problem.
It could easily be Zagabond, who's the founder.
I know.
Of this one.
What if it was? It'd be hilarious.
Yeah, they like every project he's done. Their website has been amazing. So it kind of, is his MO here.
I don't know if you guys saw this tweet. I don't think this is the original tweet I saw. I saw someone else with one with more likes and stuff. But people that track wallets found a wallet that's kind of been quietly accumulating them and has built up a collection of 100 Azukis. Nothing necessarily to be read into from that, but it's just quite interesting. I also saw, I'm going to mention him again because I'm such a fanboy, but I saw Cobain tweet a day or two ago that he tried to buy the project and Zagabond said no. And I don't know if that was just trolling or if that was actually real, but
that sounds like trolling. No, I mean, I would guess. Yeah, pull it up because wasn't it Ledger who dumped a bunch of Akus yesterday? Wasn't someone saying that in our chat?
Yeah. I think Zink was talking about it.
Zink was trying to unload a couple.
I think he put like 100 out there too.
I need to be logged into my other account because it's on his private, but yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. The psychology of, when you're in a down market and you're looking at your portfolio and you're deciding, okay, I need to de-risk here and sell some stuff, even if it's at a loss or whatever. But you sell shares in a stock, no one gives a shit, right? Even if you're a pretty good, like even if you're like a celebrity or something, it doesn't matter unless you're like the owner of the company, let alone just somebody on Twitter. And so, or let's say you're someone who has a few followers on Twitter, but you sell stocks, like no one gives a shit, right? It doesn't matter. But if you sell, like I don't want to be accused of like backing something and then later, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say I'm all for a project and then later I sell some of it and it's like, well, that doesn't look good and it doesn't feel good. It's like, well, I like this project. But then at the same time, you're balancing your personal finances. Maybe something happened in your life where you need money. Maybe there's tax issues, like who knows? So I mean, it's totally fine to sell, but I do have that in mind occasionally when I'm looking at certain projects. It's like, I don't want them to think that I don't have confidence in the project, but that's also how you kind of ride things down to zero sometimes too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think as long as you don't have, non-material or, non-public information, that I think it's fine to do whatever you want with, whether you want to sell or, dump your NFTs. But if you're, somewhat involved and you do know what's coming on the roadmap, whatnot, then that's when things get a little squirrely.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, there was that thing that happened with Nate Chastain, which is kind of crazy, right? Like I didn't really plan on talking about that, but that is, I think we all thought it was lame that he did that. And so I've heard arguments saying, even like, Matt Levine, who I love, from Bloomberg, talked about it and was kind of saying like, gee, like of all the bad things people have done in the financial sector, like this is not exactly the highest ranking thing. And then other people have said, well, his excuse was he liked these projects. He saw them, he liked them, he bought them, and then he decided to post them because he liked them. And that's his job, to find stuff that's good. And I'm like, okay, all that's fine. But then you don't fucking sell it. You can't sell it. You can't sell it like 3 days later or a day later. Like that's the part that you can't do. And people didn't seem to be focusing on that part. It's like, well, if you truly love the art, then buy it, but don't fucking sell it a day later for triple the price. That's not okay.
Yeah, no, he was front running though, right? He knew exactly which collections. So he was like purchasing them and then selling them as they pump. Yeah. I don't think
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It seemed pretty severe, for what he did, but maybe he's being made an example, but yeah, it is kind of shady. Like he deserved to get fired from OpenSea, but I think that was a just punishment.
I do too. I think so too. But I guess they're making an example out of him or something. And the Matt Levine article was really good. He talked about how there's not actually like a charge of securities fraud. That's not actually a thing. It's just fraud. And they call it, wire fraud. And he was charged with wire fraud and money laundering. And so they have these, he said basically anything is fraud now. So you just use that term. But the so the whole thing was like, oh, well, it's not insider trading because they aren't, it's not monitored by the SEC. It's NFTs. But then his argument was, well, even people who actually are doing insider trading don't get charged with insider trading. That's not a charge. It's wire fraud or whatever, which can apply to like anybody doing anything practically. So I didn't realize that, right? Like I kind of did think that because the SEC doesn't overview NFTs that you wouldn't be charged with such a thing with NFTs, but obviously that's not the case. So maybe that's the kind of point they're trying to make to get it out there. They have to use somebody, some sacrificial lamb, not that he's innocent, but like they just picked him and they're like, okay, we're going to make a big deal out of this to teach people you can't do this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel kind of bad for the guy because, with how well OpenSea is doing, if he would have just stayed at his position and, the equity that he most likely had with the company, like the founders are billionaires on paper. Like he would have made a lot of money if he would have just, I don't know why we don't know why he decided to do all that. He was trying to obviously make money, but it was, that alone is punishment, knowing that you made a huge mistake and, you see your colleagues just, make life-changing gains.
Yeah. I wonder if he still has equity in the company or if they're able to take, like if it was just options that they took away from him or if he still has some that he could exercise or how that works.
Yeah, he probably got something on his way out. Almost guarantee it. But it's different. Yeah, it's different from when you're still with the company. I think investing those shares.
I always think it's a bad look though. Like the whole Ryan Carson thing with Moonbirds, like it's similar, right? It's like he had insider knowledge of the project, and then he was trading for profit in a time frame that wasn't really appropriate. It's similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, he could be charged. Like, I don't see how it's that much different. I mean, maybe it's a little different, but
yeah, I agree. It's definitely, yeah, something that is frowned upon. But I don't know if like this is a pretty severe punishment. Seems like
you said, they're making an example, and because maybe the chances of being prosecuted correlate with the number of tech press article headlines that the thing made in the first place, and because the OpenSea thing was so high profile, it was everywhere. Maybe that's just like you say, they're making an example. Crypto has produced a string of these people cashing in their rep for what seems like a stupid amount of money in hindsight. Like the one that sticks out for me is the Cryptsy guy, Big Vern, who had one of the most popular altcoin exchanges back in 2013, 2014, and kind of exited with whatever he got away with. Is he still on the run, still in hiding, Big Vern, I believe? Never caught, but prosecuted in his absence, I guess.
Wow. Pep's pulling his OG card. I have no fucking idea what you're talking
about. Oh, really?
About.
Okay. Actually,
2013?
I thought that was like
was.
Yeah. But that was just one example. But people that were very short-sighted and decided to cash in their rep for a small scam when really what they could have done is held out. He could have been Bittrex or Poloniex or one of these exchanges that, or indeed FTX or one of the exchanges that's popular now. But he could have either exited for way more money later down the line, or he could BCZ and an actual billionaire now. So that's tough.
So let's talk about Quantum Space LA, Van, because you just went there, as we mentioned earlier. We showed the picture, but I'd love to hear about it and maybe tell us a little bit about it for people who don't know.
Yeah, no, it was very, I was surprised how fast they managed to put it all together I don't remember when they announced it, but it wasn't that long ago, considering they created a whole, gallery space for NFTs. So it's in Santa Monica, and it's actually right in the heart of where all the shops are, a few blocks away from the beach. Great location. There's a lot of foot traffic, so they'll probably get a lot of, random people just popping in, wondering what it's all about. But I actually went there with my son, and I'm trying to get him into NFTs early. And everyone was very welcoming. So they had kind of the various projects so there was actually projects that they're selling there for only, you can only buy it with credit cards, which is kind of interesting. So each piece was, I believe it was $100. And so the only way you can ever mint those is visiting that quantum space. So there was about 4 projects. I think one had actually sold out by the time I got there. If you pull up their website, you can probably see.
And then if you bought one of those for $100, how did that transaction work?
Yeah, I think it's an NFT. So you provide a wallet, and then they would, I think they transfer it. I didn't buy one. Like I meant to do it, but I was kind of in a rush, so I missed that part of things. But as even with the mint itself for the doppelgangers, which is their first drop at that space. So it's Justin Aversano's Twin Flames. So they were kind of outtakes from Twin Flames, and they glitched it out with, I forget. Can you pull up the artist's name? I don't want to butcher the artist he worked with. You're scrolling down, but
right, yeah,
I forget their name. I don't want to get it wrong, but
so can you with a doppelganger, can you go through Twin Flames and find each Twin Flames and then find the ones that correlate to it?
You can.
It's all the same people, same models.
DC Investor actually picked up. So he has a twin flame, and he picked up all the doppelgangers that matched, were the same models. So you kind of wanted the whole set for it.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw that he was aping 20 or 10 or 20 of them.
Mm-hmm. So he wanted to make sure he had got all of them. But they managed to do the mint really well because you can connect your wallet before you went to the space, and then you can load in this QR code to your phone, like if you Apple Wallet, for example, and then when you go there, they just scan the code and you provide an email address, and they'll send send a link to Mint to your email address, and then you can kind of mint it from whatever wallet later.
I remember when I did the in real life minting at Crypto New York, and I had like 1 bar on my phone and my battery was about to die. And I was like, this is not going to work. MetaMask mobile, and it worked, but it was definitely like iffy. I had to like point my phone up, like hold it above my head to get it to work. There needs to be a better way, I think.
No, I agree. Like when I went to do my, some of the, like the crypto Venetian and some of the, I forget the name of the other one, but there's another in real life mint where, the whole process was very cumbersome. They had to like tell you.
Very cumbersome.
Yeah. You had to like send your NFT to an address, and then they had to like verify it. And, there was all these steps, but with the Quantum one, it was very seamless, and just, it was just a scan, type in your email, and that was it. It was like in and out real quick.
Yeah, that's slick. It sounds like they have executed really well. I remember them mentioning this space, and then, you're right. It seemed like it was like 3 months and they finished the build out. It's crazy. And then what you're describing, it sounds like, obviously, it takes, I'm not blaming Crypto New Yorker, like they were first. And so it was harder and they had bugs to work out, and it was not a super smooth process, although it worked. But this sounds like it's, the next generation of, much smoother.
Definitely. It's kind of the 2.0 of in real life minting. Yeah, the space. And there's a lot of folks there. I think some people, flew in from, other, even from out of the country to be at that event. So yeah, it was nice meeting just fellow collectors, and I'll definitely visit that space again. So I think it's open. You can kind of just drop in whenever you want, which is kind of nice.
We got a really cool tweet shout out. I think his name was Big Bart. Isn't that right? Who said that he found out about this from our podcast and then went out there and minted an NFT and met Justin, and it was cool.
Yeah, no, it was great hearing that he, from him listening to our podcast, he discovered Quantum and he became a huge collector. He collected the whole set of Series 1 set or season. Is it season 1? Yeah.
Cool.
Kim Assendorf was the artist, the guy who did the glitch code.
That's right. Yeah. I think Yuri from our group, he really loves their art and says they're pretty big on Tezos.
So in other news, there's this other project called WagDie, We Are All Gonna Die, that came out, and it's no Discord, it's CCO, no Discord, no website. And so you just have to mint off contract, I guess, right? And then it has, pretty healthy floor considering all that, which it's anonymous, right? So it's just like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, why are we?
Wow, 1.4. Wow.
I mean, no website is just fucking lazy. Like I've had, it's no secret we're working on a project, and we batted the idea around a long time ago of just minting off contract. But it's like, it's okay maybe for some things. Like for loot, it made a lot of sense, right? That's what loot was. But for, come on, like, like this is just, it looks like another PFP project, which it kind of gives off like gaming vibes, like what's that one that I'm drawing a blank that you guys liked a while back? I think you have some, Pep. The like Dungeons and Dragons kind of one. I'm sure Zink has some.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it kind of reminds me of that stuff. Like as if there's going to be some kind of game or role playing that you do. But I mean, who the fuck knows, right? Like they're not promising anything.
Yeah.
So
what a trend that, is helpful to these random project creators. They're probably loving it. They're like, oh, we don't need a Discord anymore. We don't need a roadmap, but we can just release this.
I know. It's crazy.
Because Do Kwon saying they burned a Macy in a ritual, and then they got temporarily removed from OpenSea, which kind of sounded bad, but gave him a reason to talk more on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of an interesting move. So they bought a mutant ape, and then they sent it to a burn address.
Then Rob Ness burnt a punk, and has that done him much good? Who knows?
Yeah, Rob Ness. He did both punk and an ape.
Yeah.
So he's performance art. It's a lot of money that just got burned.
I did it in all caps too.
He did. He just in real life, he's just yelling all the time.
Imagine you meet him and he's actually like the most quiet guy.
He's like super shy.
Yeah, soft spoken. You can barely hear him.
Is he not? Does he not live near you? Is he? I don't know about where he lives, but I thought he was LA based or something.
Yeah, I think he actually lives really close to me.
Yeah, you should hook that up.
Yeah, I should try to hook up with him. Yeah, not after I called him soft spoken. You might not want it anymore.
You should hang out with him. Not personal advice. So yeah, I took a couple of other notes from something that just kind of struck me as interesting. The Guido's Sicilian Kiss is worth now. The floor price is almost double that of the Drifter Open Edition, which I found kind of fascinating. And for people who don't know what I'm talking about, well, I think maybe it just dropped. It was 0.05. I mean, that's the thing with floor prices is it's just what someone's listing it as. But the Sicilian Kiss, Guido's a great. We all love Guido. He's hilarious, and he came out with this. I don't know, maybe you know more about it than me, Van, but I remember I minted one. It was a free mint, and he basically promised nothing, but there was maybe a slight implication that if you had a few, you could burn them later or something. But anyway, it's a free mint, and then people got them, and it's just a close-up picture of this person's mouth with lipstick on it. Yeah, so the floor price for what that's worth is 0.054. And I guess the more interesting part of the story is the other side of it, which is the Drifter Open Edition is wrecked. It's like 0.03 or something, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the Drifter too, I believe it was 0.2 to mint, somewhere around there.
Oh, that's right. It was. Yeah, it was 0.2. Because I think I bought one for 0.09 because we were talking about it on the pod a while back, and then we pulled it up and it was 0.09, and I bought it actually on right then. I was like, oh, I might as well just buy one. I mean, I don't really care. Like, whatever, it's 0.09 now, it's 0.03, but it could come back. It's just interesting that people are just dumping those. I mean, $60, Jesus Christ, $60.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing the two different approaches for open edition photos. And yeah, I think kind of nailed it and even the photo itself, it was very memeable. These lips, and you saw a bunch of people, putting those lips on, other pictures and sharing it. So yeah, it kind of got a lot more momentum. And then he did a clever thing by saying a bunch of them, can get burned for another of his pieces in the future.
The close-up of that mouth isn't very inviting. It kind of looks like it has bad breath. Like it kind of looks like a tranny with like bad breath. I don't know. I don't really.
I'm gonna have to say that anymore.
It's all smashed up. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So there was a question in the chat about the Quantum Art 1,000 pieces. And part two is it like a part two of Twin Flames? Because Twin Flames are one of ones. And these are one of ones, but there's only like 100 Twin Flames. How many Twin Flames are there? Around 100, I think.
Yeah, so I think the idea was that the models there's multiple versions of the models within the set. And there was one that was actually of one, but that one didn't get minted. So you had a certain amount of time to mint, and then the way the contract was written, if you didn't mint by that time, I think the rest were getting burned. So that one of one actually got burned, which was kind of interesting.
So are you saying that of all the Twin Flames that there are, one of them had a one of one,
or one of the doppelgangers? Yeah, one of the doppelgangers had a set of twins on there that were just there was just one picture of them.
They were only used once.
They were used once. So it was considered the one of one, I guess.
And it didn't get minted. Interesting.
Yeah, it didn't get minted. But technically they're all one of one pictures. They're all unique. But just strictly speaking about the models.
So I wonder how many didn't get minted. Do you know the final count?
We can go to the website. I think there was maybe 30 around there. Maybe I'm off here, but it was something like that. So we saw it with the gems mint too. I think people just don't pay attention, or maybe they're traveling, and they don't have access to their ledger. But yeah, it seems to always happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of reasons. Yeah, not having access to the ledger's one. It's just fatigue, right? I mean, people sometimes take a week off, and anything that happens like that, you're just going to miss. And that's part of the problem with having these passes is, it's kind of really meant, if you have one of these passes, for example, Proof or Quantum or VSP or Pre-Mint or any of these things, that you're involved, like you're in the Discord, you're keeping up with what's going on, or else you're going to miss out, And that's part of the reason I sold some of my Pixel Vault stuff. Like, I just couldn't keep up with it all. And I felt like it was like stressful, because it's like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. And it's like, you know what, I'm just going to sell it. I'm going to claim the coins and sell them and sell the asset and just move on. Cause I'm not really a community member. I just don't have time. I don't ever go into the Discord or talk about it or look at the comic or anything. I kind of bought it as an investment. And so I kind of moved on, because whereas at least with Quantum, like for me, I actually try to pay attention at least to some degree. And if I don't, then you guys alert, like a bunch of us in the same group are paying attention to it. Right.
Yeah, that makes it easier when there's a few of you that have got the same thing. Like I've had this in the last few days. I've got multiple NFTs where I'm the only guy in the group that's got one, or maybe there's one or two of us, and I've kept one because I thought, oh, that'll be cool when they do have an opportunity to mint, or there's another freebie. But it's just so hard to keep track of. In the last week or 10 days, I've missed maybe 3 different things. I didn't get the first VSP thing, the cat block, because I missed the Puma thing, like Adidas originals into the metaverse. You had to do something within the last sort of week or two, right? So some sort of burn, again, didn't do.
Oh, I got it's stressful. I got my tracksuit coming. I can't wait to wear it.
Oh yeah, I'm kidding. So when we do the meetup, is that
we should all wear it. And the G Money little beanie. Too funny. Yeah. So the Adidas one, I noticed. So I claimed my stuff, and then I held on to it a little bit longer, and then I sold it. And then I still got the airdrop. So I don't know when maybe just by claiming you got the airdrop. I don't know, but I ended up getting the Adidas airdrop anyway. I noticed it was in my wallet.
Yeah, I think that one, how it worked is once you claim the merch, and then it burns your original NFT, and then you get this V2 of it. And if you're holding the V2, that's when you got the airdrop.
I
don't remember, because I sold mine though. I don't know.
Oh, you sold it? Maybe you know what? They probably did. Maybe you held it long enough where when they collected the wallets.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Airdrop. Yeah, that must have happened. The snapshot.
And I don't know if it was a secret, like they didn't tell you, or if I just got lucky. The price did drop, so I kind of figured whatever was claimed was had already. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Probably it was already like people knew it was already claimed, because I sold it for less. Like all of a sudden the floor dropped a fair amount, and I thought it was just from the overall market being bad, but maybe that was why. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm, what to the whole point of when you're the only one holding a certain NFT. I love it way more when everyone has, we're all in on a collection, because then we're chatting about it. But if you're the only person, and then, you're talking about that NFT, it just falls on deaf ears. No one cares.
I know. I wanted you to get a goblin so then I could get a goblin, because I do not want to.
Oh, you did? Like, I was waiting. Like, I wanted to get a goblin, but I didn't want that to happen, where I'm the only one,
how funny would that
goblins
be?
In the chat.
Well, it was funny. So when we got Moonbirds, so a while back, when they minted, I mean, that was the biggest no-brainer out there. It's like, come on, you got to get one, no matter what the fuck they cost. And I think we ended up getting them. You got 2 free ones, right? They're not free, but whatever, basically free. And then I bought them on the market. Anyway, we got them all that first day, like right when they came out, you, me, and Deb, and then Zinc and No One and Plum were all salt and Pep. I guess you didn't seem a salty Pep, but we're all salty about how, they're like anti. So it's like Team Moonbird and Team Anti Moonbird. And then here the floor goes up to like 30, floor goes up to like 35, and we're just super obnoxious. It was so fun. Like that's the most fun I've had in a while. Like
it is fun. Yeah. It's not so it's not so fun doing it alone, but if you have like a few of the guys, it's almost more fun when it's kind of divided in half, because you have the fudders and
that
the
was a great dynamic. That was a grerit dynamic. And then, they've done well, but like it didn't really matter. It's just the point is like, and then when you get someone to convert, that's the greatest. Like usually Plum's MO is like the floor is 10, he doesn't buy. The floor is 20, he doesn't buy. The floor is 35, he buys. Floor goes immediately down to 20.
Yep. He's Mr. Art Block now. He's no more PFP.
Yeah, it's so funny. So if you had to buy an art block right now, what would you buy? Are you eyeing any right now, like projects?
I am, but I don't want to talk about it. I want to.
Wow, you really are. Okay.
Yeah, I think right now is stink bid season. When everyone's a little bit, wary that the markets are tanking. So it's the perfect time to just put in these low bids and hope people accept.
I think I know which ones. Yeah, I think I know which one you like.
But late November, early December last year, when literally the NFTs were rock bottom, crypto was crashing, and that was the time. That was just before everything kind of turned around. So I think you're right. I think it's a good time to be scooping.
It's hard though. It's hard to spend a lot. It's hard to spend a lot of money on NFTs when the market's so bad right now. It's just. But I mean, that is probably the time. Not necessarily right now, but like whenever that's going to be, it's like when you feel the worst about it is probably the best time to do it. Right? That's usually how it works.
But I haven't even really adjusted mentally to Ethereum being under 2K still. I see like a 7 ETH floor, and that feels like lots of money. And obviously that still is a lot of money. That's still like $14,000 or whatever. But compared to what it was, like you see 7 ETH floors, and in my head, a 7 ETH floor is like what, 30K or something almost. So
yeah, it's nuts. I sold, I think it was like a Realms or something that I bought, Realms of whatever treasure derivative. And I sold it for like 1.6 ETH like a week ago. And I was pretty stoked. I knew it was a loss, but I was pretty stoked. I'm like, I'll take 1.6 ETH. And then when I went ahead and bought Coin Tracker for this year to start tracking my taxes, and it reported it, it was like a $16,000 loss. I'm like, what the fuck? That did not make me feel as good. Yeah. When ETH was $4,300 is when I bought the damn thing for like 3 ETH or 4 ETH or whatever the fuck it cost. And it was, goddamn.
Maybe this is the only thing that's going to save people's save people from their tax bill next year, is the fact that we all aped like morons at 4.3K ETH, and now we're having to sell. I mean, it might work out good.
Yeah. It's do a little tax harvesting right now.
Involuntary.
Yeah.
So the thing I did, which I've talked about a little bit before, is it actually was No One who I think when he was on our pod, he mentioned it. And I think his approach is the best, which is he talked about he had 2 bags. His long-term wallet that he never touches, and that has a bunch of ETH in it. And that's just like, he's going to have that for a long time. Right. And then he has his short-term wallet. And so if he wants to swing trade, he'll do that with the short-term wallet, but he won't ever touch the long-term wallet. He just leaves that alone. So that's kind of the philosophy I'm using. And I feel like psychologically it really helps because you kind of hedge both positions. So like right now I have my long-term ETH wallet that I'm not touching no matter what the price does. I'm just not touching it. So, and then I have my short-term wallet, which I sold some NFTs and I get ETH in it. And then all that ETH I converted to stables like immediately over the last 3-4 weeks, right around average of like 1,800 to 2K. And so I managed to come up with a fair amount of USDC in that wallet. So then if ETH goes down, I'm happy because then I'm like, oh, I can buy more ETH, with this USDC. And if ETH goes up, I'm like, well, I have my long-term bag. I'm good. Like, it's like either way, I'm happy. It's all like psychological, really.
It makes it easier to make clearer decisions for sure. Because you've got kind of one bag. You're just fully bought into the idea that you're not going to touch, or that you're going to add to over time. I think it's nice to have liquid funds on hand as well to ape without feeling like you're gonna hurt the bottom line of your savings account, if you like, or your long term holdings. But no one's approach is nice. There's. Sorry, I was just trying to read chat. It's like I should not look at chat unless we're actually going, because it just makes I keep getting distracted. But
need to price NFTs in USDC.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Like when, but that's part of the problem with Top Shot. But then they added ETH pricing, but it was kind of like too late. And I don't think anyone actually prices Top Shots in ETH. So, but you're right. I mean, remember when OpenSea, I don't know if you guys remember, but before they didn't always have the US dollar price, right? It just had ETH prices. And then people kept doing those stink bids with DAI.
Yeah.
So if something was listed for 10 ETH, they would list 10 DAI and then people would accept it. And so then they put in where it actually says the US dollar amount. But I don't actually feel like, surprisingly, I don't feel like that really tanked things, because when that happened, I don't remember it having any kind of a bad effect.
I mean, I guess it was because at that point everyone thought they needed more ETH because ETH was going to 10K and they didn't have enough ETH. So no one.
Yeah, it was a bullish unlock for that price maneuver. Yeah, for sure.
How do you guys feel about some of the other sort of product stuff that OpenSea have done lately, like changed in the look and feel a bit? And do you think they're moving in the right direction? Do you think they're?
I like the trait searchability. That's better, but I don't like. I mean, I guess I'll just get used to it, but I don't really love how they put everything to the left instead of the center. So, it's not that big a deal. You have to change your banner. Like my banner looks weird now, and I haven't bothered to change it because the little circle instead of being in the middle is on the left. And I don't exactly know why they did that, but the only other thing I've honestly noticed is just the trait searching is nice. It's better where you can type in 3D glasses and it'll bring them all up and it'll bring up the population. And I think. Does it bring up the floor price right there in the little pop-up window? I can't remember, but I just remember being easier to use.
Like you said, the cosmetic stuff you kind of get used to whenever Twitter or whatever platform that you're a resident of changes. There's always that initial kind of repulsion, and then you get used to the change, and then it's all good, and then you forget there was ever a change to begin with. I do, because I wondered because they've got so much money.
So much money.
I wonder how well built out their product team is as far as UI and stuff. Are they A/B testing? Because when you go up to the scale of an Amazon or something like that, they're constantly running split tests. And some of the stuff that gets rolled out to all of us has already been tested with a subset of users or multiple subsets of users or whatever. I mean, I wonder if OpenSea are kind of that well evolved yet. Internally that they're running them kind of experiments, because surely that change just doesn't happen. That must have been through testing. So I wonder if is it converting better? I'd love some of the data. I know we're never going to get it, but I'd love to know how it's going.
I don't know, man, but they sure raised at the right time. I mean, they got so much money, and that money is worth double now. It's crazy. You can't get, there's no way they'd be they were evaluated at such a high, amount the last raise. Well, good for them. But.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's gonna pass up OpenSea though. We've seen kind of Coinbase come in, and no one uses Coinbase.
Their marketplace. What a fucking disaster. I hadn't even thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah. OpenSea is it. It's the platform now. I think on the whole point of their features, I don't know if you guys have this same one thing that bugs me so much is if you click on activity and you see all the sales, I don't know if they do this intentionally. But you see how, maybe it's just my view, but for me, all the names of who bought it is kind of cut short. So you can't see the full name. Which is I don't know, just seems weird. It used to not do that in the past, but this new
I've noticed that. And I also don't like, this isn't a change from before, but I don't like how it says a year ago, but it doesn't actually give you the date.
Yeah. It's nice to kind of know those little things. And, sometimes you're just wondering who's buying a certain project or selling.
So yeah, they bought Gem, which is interesting, and they'll buy. I mean, I would think with all that money, they just need to buy other companies that do things better than they do, and then integrate them into their site. That seems like the way to go, because they don't seem very good at developing, and innovating this. Like I don't feel like they do a very good job with that. I think their strong point is obviously they were first, and I guess security, and I guess just overall being able to stay up, and function. Like they seem pretty good at that. But as far as like coming up with really awesome new user interfaces and that kind of thing, it seems like it'd be better just buying other companies.
I guess that's what I was kind of asking, because they don't seem to have done much to evolve yet. Like a few tweaks here and a few tweaks there and stuff. But like I don't know what I was expecting, but with all that money and the market leader position, maybe acquisition is way forward.
So Dokwan is in the chat is talking about the Kobe tweet, which we saw about. He has a call with Yuga and talking about CryptoPunks IP. And there was a tweet thread that was pretty interesting. And one guy in there said, maybe they bought him for 100 million. Because I said in there, I don't buy this argument that Yuga bought CryptoPunks just to tank it, right? Like, let's like Coke buying Pepsi and making Pepsi go out of business.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, first of all, and they quoted like maybe it was $100 million. Like that's nothing to Yuga. But if you do the back of the envelope math, I mean, I just like really, really lowballing all of the punks, which was almost 1,000 punks, and was it 1,000 me bits? I think it was 1,000 me bits, maybe more. And just lowballing those on like floor prices, it came out to like 200 million. And then you got to figure there's some gems in there. Like they still have an alien, and they have, so it's a lot more. It might even be 300 million, and that's just for the assets. And then on top of that, it's the IP rights. So, I mean, how much are the IP rights? I have no idea, but 100 million, 200 million. So, I mean, we're talking about like $500 million. They're not going to pay $500 million to just throw, they're not going to burn that money. That doesn't make any sense. Right. So I don't buy that argument at all. But it does raise the question. And I also would love to know, like I unfortunately, Kobe didn't respond to me, but hopefully they'll see it. I said, please ask them how much, not that they would tell us, but please ask them how much they paid, because that's not been released. Right. And I'm so curious, like, does it depend on future revenue? Like what if Larva Labs said, oh, we get, 1% of Yuga revenue in the deal or something like that. I have no idea. Right. Like who knows how it was structured, but I think it was a lot more money than you would think. I mean, I don't think it was $100 million. I think it was a lot more than that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a lot more than 100. But speaking of Yuga, and to kind of tie it in with OpenSea, they are planning to open up their own marketplace. And I know, Yuga sales, their ecosystem sales are a huge percentage of OpenSea volume. So that, that's something that could definitely hurt OpenSea.
Whoa. They used to be Van. Now it's goblins. It's all goblins.
Yeah. Goblins are the new hot project.
Goblin marketplace.
We're gonna buy one each immediately after this pod, right?
I mean, part of it is like you just, as my soon to be wife said at dinner tonight, she goes, "You realize you guys are all just a bunch of degenerate gamblers, right?"
Oh no! I don't even deny that. I know I am.
I'm like, yeah, we are. And I'm like, I just want to feel something again. I just want to feel something. So maybe I will buy a fucking goblin. But I know the second I buy a goddamn goblin, it's gonna go down like 10%.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yep. And
the fact that you two now are talking about it on the pod and saying that each of you were waiting for the other person to buy one. Now you're both going to buy, and that's it. Absolute top.
No, I sold my ETH. Like I said, I sold my ETH to USDC. So I'd have to go back and buy ETH, which I guess I could do, but
the credit card out.
Yeah, we're only talking like goblins in our chat from now on too. Let's make that clear.
How do you do the little weird font?
With the font? Yeah.
Can I have an app that like translates for me?
Yeah, I'm copying and pasting every single thing I say in that chat from now on.
Oh my God, they need to make a goblin app.
Yeah, that would be great
for texting.
The Kobe thing is it so? It was a bit cryptic. Is it literally a call, or is it an app-only episode, or what? Is it like, I hadn't figured that out.
Yeah, initially I thought he meant he was going to have an episode, but then I read it again and I was like, I think he just means he's having a call.
Yeah.
So,
like, I mean, you'd obviously take it. Like, almost any other anyone else in the industry that randomly approached him and said, "Can we take a call?" Yeah. I mean, there must be a small group of projects and teams that he would just invite that from in the first place without doing an episode.
Yeah, I feel like Kobe's worth, like, can you imagine pitching him? Like, he's so cynical and critical, like, and he's super smart. So like, I don't feel like he would ever give you any praise. It'd be more like if he doesn't criticize you that much, or if he like really focuses on one thing that's horrible, then you get rid of that. But like, I don't ever expect him to like be positive and, and like say, oh yeah, that's great. Like, I really like that idea. Or this is what you should do. You should, like, he just seems like he's so negative on NFTs. I don't see like how that would be a super productive call unless they look at him as like their biggest critic and they're like, okay, like we have to see what he, points out as like the worst thing of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's really going to be knowledgeable on tokenomics and structuring deals and things like that. And maybe as they're investigating the idea of their own chain and other incentives to kind of support ApeCoin, maybe he's a good person to bounce ideas off. But I can't imagine his time's that cheap. So if it's literally a picking his brain exercise and they're getting that for free just out of complete curiosity because he wants to know what the hell they want, that's just maybe that's a good way to do it. You pique enough interest that you get free consulting from people like that.
Yeah, that kind of would love to hear that call. It'd be so interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll be able to talk about it on the air. Probably not.
Yeah. Although he's got that dual account thing going on, so as long as you're following the locked account, maybe you'll get more out of him, because he seems much more willing to tweet freely on that private account than he does on his main account now.
Oh, I don't know, but what is that?
Yeah. What is that private account?
Oh shit! If you okay. So I'll give you it off air, although it's not really a secret. But I know there's a bunch of people that are just in the queue of getting accepted. Like, for whatever reason, he's not accepting every request, or I don't know if he's even accepting any requests. He kind of let everyone know when he first created the account and said, I'm going to be here, add me. And then people added him, and then that was it for the minute.
Wait a minute. Is this one of your wet dreams that you
No.
Sure? Is this real?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we're talking about real life, not your fantasy. Where does Kobe live? Does he live near you? You should go stalk his house.
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I wish I knew. Well, I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't wish I knew. I don't really care. But yeah, he probably got dozens of houses. Think how much money the man must have. He must be so rich. Imagine.
Yeah. I'm jealous of Keyboard Monkey that he got to be on the pod with him.
Yeah, that was a great episode. I like really enjoyed them just shitting on NFTs the entire time. Like it was hilarious.
It was good. It was good. Man, he's brutal about ApeCoin too. I'm so fucking dumb, dude. I'll just admit it. I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever done in NFTs. I'll just say it. I bought not that much, fortunately, but I bought like 20 grand worth of ApeCoin at $23.
Eesh.
And why? Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, I knew the price was going to go down. And then I'm listening to their podcast and they're like, I mean, that was the easiest call to make ever. Like, you needed their stupid coin to buy their stupid land. And then as soon as the land sale was over, you didn't need their stupid coin anymore. Like, obviously, and Keyboard Monkey's like, yeah, I shorted that. I did real well. And I'm like, I bought it at $23. What the fuck is wrong with me? I'm an idiot. It's because I was in this other chat and somebody was like, oh, it's, making some bull case about how it's going to go up to $100. And somehow I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to buy some. Well, tax harvest.
Yep. Silver lining.
What is ApeCoin at now? $6?
$6. Right. Yeah. You know what? Actually, I was looking at charts earlier, and that $6 line has been defended really, really hard. Like there's definitely like a bidder of last resort.
You're right.
It's like a flat line on the chart. If you look at it, it's pretty crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've noticed that it's almost become a stable coin. It's like $6. It's always $6.
Although I think I saw Cold Blooded Chiller or someone else point out that that's really good until it's not, and actually that becomes one of the best shorts because it's been defended so hard and so heavily. If it finally goes, then it makes it an even better short than perhaps. And the floor just goes out like to 2 or something. Yeah, but I've been observing that and with an interested eye.
So, okay, I don't actually know. So if you wanted to short ApeCoin, how would you do that? How do you short it?
Are there perps? There must be. I don't know because I haven't shorted it, but I'm sure there's probably.
Yeah, that's a great question. I've kind of wondered that.
Yeah, so FTX have got ape perp, so you can go short and long on that. It's like a synthetic market of the price of ape coin. Let me put it up on the screen. So yeah, you've got ape coin perpetual. So the perps are like futures. So you can go long, you can go short, you can use leverage. And there's probably others. Was that not one of the sort of the interesting parts about it? And it was just a testament to how well connected and regarded the Yuga are, that almost like the second that they launched their coin, you had perps on, well, you had markets on the biggest and most prominent exchanges. Is like some coins wait forever to get listed or have to wait until they've got a real foothold. But yeah, I guess technically they have got a real foothold. So, but yeah, that it went on to mainstream exchanges pretty quickly, almost immediately, as far as I remember. Yeah.
So do they have to give permission, or can FTX just make this on their own?
Yeah, they can list. Yeah, they can make whatever they want, I think, to a degree. Especially like with an ERC20, obviously they can just list it, and with perps, they, I guess it's just algorithmic. It kind of tracks the spot price. I don't know exactly how you price the perps. I guess it's the same as any other market, supply and demand based. But they typically, if you've got like a watch list on TradingView and you've got the perp listed next to the spot market, they're typically like in lockstep, pretty much the same price. Apparently on KuCoin you can also buy like a 3x short token. So there's sort of like bull and bear tokens where you can, rather than having to figure out interfaces and stuff like that.
This is like telling an alcoholic that there's a bunch of free alcohol in the next room. Like, come on. I don't need to know about any 3x ape coin bullshit. This sounds dangerous.
I don't know what the situation is for you guys trading perps on FTX, whether you're actually allowed. In the UK, I just have to tick a box to say I know I'm a moron and I'm willing to lose money. I think the actual thing is like you have to acknowledge that you're a sophisticated investor that understands what they're doing and verify your phone number, and then you can trade the perps. But I don't know. I don't even know if you guys can trade perps on FTX officially. Maybe, I'm not sure.
I'd have to look. I don't know. I don't remember. I have an account with them, but I don't remember seeing that. So probably not. But I'd have to look and see. All right, let's look at the 100 ETH challenge. Do we have that? I don't really want to, but
yeah.
I've got a feeling a lot of it's going to be broken. It's particularly if, I know. Here we go. It's loading.
It's loading. Let's see.
Oh no, this is going to be horrible.
Green. I see green.
Oh, quantum keys. Quantum keys is the only thing that's done well.
If that one's priced in, I don't know if that one's actually. Oh yeah, it's priced automatically though. Yeah,
Moore's actually is doing pretty well. I mean, ETH wise, at least.
Well, it looks like I'm in the lead, so I'm going to say it's working correctly.
Wait, scroll down. I can't see. Van has 74.
Oh my god,
we're the
pretty
same.
much neck and neck. Yeah.
No, I have point. What is that? 444 over you. First place.
Well, okay.
Yeah, you're both miles ahead of everyone else. Definitely ahead of everyone else.
And then Jenny from the blockchain's third, Pep's fourth. What's Deb? Ooh, he's wrecked. 35. And then Zinc, what is Zinc? He's 49.
Central down.
Yeah. Honestly, like none of these numbers are that bad compared to like the whole market. I mean, I think Deb's is pretty close to like the whole market. But but of course, then if you don't include the US dollar amount being cut in half.
Let's not do that one because that would be horrendous.
It's just ETH challenge.
Yeah,
US dollar challenge.
Definitely. It was definitely the ETH challenge.
Brutal. It's so funny that when we first launched it, like I really didn't envision it. I never envisioned this. Like I didn't.
Yeah. You thought it was going to be a contest of who's made like 150, who's made 200, not who's
at least like 50. Yeah, definitely not. Like I didn't think we would all be in the negative. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, the first few weeks after we started it, everyone was just killing it, right? We had like
we felt like geniuses.
Yeah. And then now,
Do you think it saved you from any FOMO just having the 100 ETH challenges like a back burner thing, like knowing that you've aped stuff there?
I think it kind of did, yeah, because it was the other way around at first. It was like I felt terrible because it wasn't real. And then now I'm so relieved it isn't real. It's like, yeah, okay. I kind of got to pretend not really do it in real life. So
it's a good way to protect your trading account by having a sort of paper trade account as well at the same time. Like paper trading alone is never going to teach you how to trade, but maybe having both could be good. It's like the
psychological thing again. That's interesting.
Might be a terrible idea. Yeah, 100 days challenge was a top signal. It really was. Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up here. But thanks for joining. I'm glad we could all get this out. It's not so bad, just the three of us. But next time we'll see if we can get a couple more people involved. Yeah. And thanks to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, thanks
for your input.
Yeah, no, it's been fun.